Hey y'all, this is Kim with Creative Escapades. Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. Let's jump right into our video and see what we can create. I'm working on another Kleenex tissue jar, and what I've done to prepare this one is to clean it with 99% alcohol, and then I used the electrical tape around the top and then coated it with a layer of Krylon Fusion all-in-one matte white spray paint, and then I let it dry for a few hours, and then I am using the Flame Kissed Heart from Bulk Glitters, and this is a Fireglow metallic. It's a gorgeous pink. And then I'm also going to be using this Crystal Diamonds from Walmart. And my resin today is again the Faux Rizzle, which is a 1:1 ratio. And just getting it all over my surface of my jar, and then I'm just going to put the glitter in lines down the surface of the jar. Mostly going to use pink, but I'll add a little bit of the white in between those stripes. And the white isn't so much for show other than just to cover up the white spray paint, because once I hit this with the heat, I want it to move that resin, and then that will cause the swirl effect with the glitter. Just going to warm it up a little bit, and as I warm it and the turner continues to turn, you can see how that swirl design is starting to evolve. And this will turn overnight, and then I'll come back and put my next layer of resin down so we can put some more glitter on here. And to keep you from getting bored, I've sped up this video, so it has now been 24 hours, and I'm adding my next layer of resin, again using the Faux Rizzle, which is a 1:1 ratio, getting it all over the jar, top and bottom, and all down in those little crevices at the top. I needed to have a smooth surface for this next glitter. I'm going to warm this up and make sure there's no bubbles. And I apologize if the camera keeps moving. But so the next glitter that I'm going to be using is the Southern Girls glitter, and this is a Shattered Opal Chunky mix, and I mixed it directly into about 2.5 mils of the resin, and it's thick, and I wanted it to be like that so that when I laid down the lines onto the surface of the jar, that the glitter would stay there until I was ready to move it with my stir stick. I don't want it to just drip, I just want it to have a nice coating of the Shattered Opal. I'm making sure that I get it at the top and down on the bottom of the jar as well, which my camera keeps moving. I must be bumping it, not realizing. And then here I have mixed a little bit of Color Arts Primary Elements Bling Gold Sparkle, and I let that get a little bit thick too so that I could stream it on, and then I'll just hit it with a little bit of heat and let it spread just a little bit, not too much, because I want you to be able to see that gold as the light hits it. Then I'll let this again cure overnight before we come back and do our next part of the project. want to make sure the design goes all the way up over the crevices of the jar. Just heating it up a little bit and let it turn. And here it is, 24 hours later, and I am ready to add the vinyl to it. And it's got a lovely smooth surface, so it's going to work perfect. And this is Cricut Pink Pearl vinyl. I cut this out and gotta just decide where I want to put it on the jar. Okay, I think we're going to go about right here. I think it'll look good right there. And I made it kind of big because since I used another pink, it might blend a little bit. So wanted to make sure it was big enough to be seen. And I'm going to show you a little trick here that when you pull the backer paper away from the vinyl, lay your vinyl face down and pull the backer paper away from your vinyl instead of the other way around. It just works better. Let's get our jar back in line here, and then we'll just figure out where we want to put it. And remember, don't do what I just did. It's sticky paper, so make sure you got it where you want it before you let it touch the surface of your project. Okay, I'm ready to put it here, and I'm just going to go up the center of the vinyl and then work it out to the edge of one side, and then go back to the center and work it out on the other side. And then I'm going to rub it firmly down onto the jar before I try to remove the transfer tape. Just working it in, making sure that I have no air bubbles under there. If you leave air bubbles under your vinyl, it can possibly allow resin to get underneath there, and it could lift your vinyl away from the surface of your jar, and it just wouldn't look near as nice, and you probably would have to put another layer of resin to cover it. So you start at one side and pull the backer transfer tape away, and then once you have the transfer tape removed, then just firmly go over the surface of your vinyl and make sure that it is completely flat onto the surface of the project. I think it's going to look really, really cute. Okay, so we're ready to add our resin again. We'll be using the Faux Rizzle, and I'll be using 30 mils of the clear. Making sure that I get everything coated. Went over this vinyl very, very well. I didn't have any problems with it. Then I'm going to heat it up, make sure that I don't have any bubbles. And now I'm going to use this pink rose alcohol ink from Bria Reese. And I have 2.5 mils of resin in this cup, and I'm going to add 1 drop of the ink. And then I'm just going to mix that in. And because I don't want this to be transparent, I want it to have a little bit of an opaque look, I'm going to add 1 drop of the Pinata white alcohol ink and mix that in so that I get kind of a creamy looking pink. And then I'm just going to stream this across the surface of the jar, not over the vinyl, but everywhere else. And I'm just going to do it kind of diagonal like I did the gold. It's just going to add another little bit of a design element. And I do it at the top and at the bottom of where the vinyl is, but not over the top of the vinyl itself. Making sure I get it at the top and the bottom of the jar. And anywhere where it kind of was too much, I'm just using my finger and moving it around a little bit. Gonna heat it up. And then I'm gonna let this turn overnight. And here it is, already finished. And I think it turned out just absolutely adorable. So we're ready now to cut out the top of it, and I'm using the stiff felt, and I will trace around this and then cut it out, and then I'll cut a hole in the very center of it as well. And these are the Kleenex tissue tubes, and I got this at Target. It comes in a package of 4, and it's pretty expensive as far as tissues go. And you just pop the top of it off and take the tissues out. And I didn't use the whole pack to put in here. You don't want it to be packed too tightly, because then it won't allow your tissues to come out freely. And so I took about half of it, and I'm going to roll it up gently. It's not going to be tight. I'm going to tuck it down in there, and then I'm going to take the Kleenex and put it through the hole in the felt and screw the lid on. In future, I want to try to use regular tissues and see if I can make it work and pull it through, and they will dispense like they're supposed to. But for this one, I just wanted to try it with the tube tissue. I had it on hand because I bought it for a previous project. And here she is. She's all finished, and she now graces the corner of my desk at work. And she just brings a cute little spot of color to my office, and I just love her. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please click like and share. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do that now, and if you ring that bell, you'll get notified when I upload future videos. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them below. I'd love to hear your feedback.